My name is Mary Huffman. I'm with RE/MAX Boulder, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Stephen Moore. And Stephen, you're a psychotherapist with a practice in Lafayette, Colorado. I want to thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Stephen and I were having a conversation about how stressful it is to buy and sell a home. I've always heard that buying and selling a home is within the top 5 stressors in our lives.
Well, it's an interesting concept to say the top 5 stressors in our lives. So I kind of push back against that, but I will say that buying and selling a home has to be among the top, only because it always happens in conjunction with other stressors. So it's rare to hear someone saying, I'm just buying and selling a house because I feel like it.
Right.
Usually there's some reason, whether the kids have moved out and they want to downsize, or maybe they just had a new child, or it could be due to a new marriage or a divorce.
So it's not the actual purchase and selling of the home, but it's what is precipitating that activity.
Yeah, not to say that buying and selling itself isn't stressful, but it's the fact that there's other stressful things happening that compound upon that makes it really stressful. Anytime there's change going on in our lives, there's going to be some stress, and we're going to feel that.
Right.
However, one of the biggest things to remember about stress is that how we perceive it actually influences how we feel it. And so if we think of something as a good stress, we're not going to feel that stress as much as if we perceive it as a bad stress.
So you and I could have very different reactions, positive or negative, to the same event.
Absolutely.
For instance, if the kids were leaving home, it might be positive for you and negative for me, right?
Yeah, that's a great example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some things that I can do as a realtor to help clients through a stressful contract or situation?
Well, first would just to be to recognize that it is very stressful, and it's not just the buying and selling, it's all that other stuff going on that's stressful. I would also recommend to look out for acute stress. So if the eyes are kind of opening, maybe the breathing is getting caught up high, maybe they're looking really
I've seen all these
intense.
things.
Yeah. Or they've come out of a showing and they're like, I don't remember a single thing I've seen. These are all really good signs of stress. And I would recommend in those moments to just help them kind of regulate their bodies. So stress lives in the body. Like I said, the breath can get up really high. So my favorite one is the 5-count breath. And I teach this to all of my clients. All it is 5 breaths, counting to 5 on the inhalation, so a nice long inhalation.
I've done this before.
Yeah, and then 5 on the exhalation. And then you do that 5 times, and you just do it really slowly.
Okay. And that kind of helps just reset them.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if that's not working, do you have another one?
Sure. Actually, it's really interesting. When we were buying our home, I would leave a showing and think, I don't even remember what I saw.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's stress. So what happens when we're stressed out is that all of our senses tend to narrow, including our vision, because we just kind of want to look for what we're stressed out about, which is usually like something we're afraid of. And so we're not going to take in everything. And so one recommendation would be to invite your client to actually take the time to just look around the room and name some objects. It's going to help them remember what they're seeing, but it's also, again, going to clue their body in that it can relax.
Okay, and that would just kind of refocus them.
Exactly.
That's great for the short-term stress, when I see their eyes rolling back in their head, that sort of thing. What can I do to help a client through a very long transaction? Because oftentimes a transaction can last a week, or it can last many, many months.
Yeah. Well, I know that realtors often offer their ear and listen to what's going on, which is really important. And I would also say the other important thing is to remember that stress is often about change. And so when there's a lot of change going on in someone's life, routine becomes very important. Wanting to have something that's really predictable so that kind of offsets some of the stress. So like for myself, I made sure to go to the gym every morning just like I always did when I started the process of buying a house, even though I felt overwhelmed and felt like I didn't have time for it, because it really did help manage all that stress that was going on everywhere else. So I would say if you were used to going to the gym in the morning, or if you just stop at your favorite coffee shop on your way to work, keep doing that. Even if you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like you don't have time for those sorts of things anymore, it's really important to keep those things up.
Okay. So you recently moved. So talk a little bit about the process, how that went for you, and was that stressful for you? Because you're a professional, so maybe you don't feel stressed.
Yeah, I have all the tools to manage stress, but I'm a human first, so yes, I definitely got stressed. I definitely made sure I got to the gym, even though I didn't feel like I had time, and that certainly helped. And another one was working with you. You were our realtor, and that was really, really helpful. And the biggest reason is because I don't do this every day.
And I do it all day long.
Exactly.
Right.
So you know what to expect, and you're able to see the big picture. You're also not invested in it the way that a buyer or seller is, right? So especially like in an instance where when we were selling my fiance's condo, we actually had a good stress come up that felt really stressful to us, which was that she had multiple offers. She had 3 offers on
Which
the
is
condo.
really common occurrence, in the last couple of years.
Right, and neither one of us had ever experienced having to deal with that.
Right.
And so because of the stress, we kind of went into this negative way of seeing it, which was this lot of pressure of, what if we choose the wrong one and it falls through? Are we ever going to sell this place?
Right.
And what was great was you were there to remind us, again, big picture, you have 3 offers on the table. That's a wonderful thing, which really helped calm us down. And not only that, but you walked us through each offer and helped us decide what was most important to us, so that when we made our decision, even if one fell through and one eventually actually did, we actually still felt really good about our decision because we felt really informed about why we made that decision. So that was really helpful for us.
So it sounds like, buying and selling a home is not the actual stress, although it can be part of it, but it's more of what's going on in people's lives. And that's good information for me, because sometimes I think it's the process, and maybe I will look wider and see what else is going on, beyond my vision. So that's good to know. And also, I love your ideas for helping stressed out people. The breathing is wonderful. The reframing, like looking around the room, and then the continued self-care and routine are all good things I'm going to share with my clients.
Great.
So if I have somebody who's that stuff isn't working for, I think for short-term help, could I have them call a psychotherapist like yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think a lot of people think that psychotherapy is like this long process for really deep issues.
Right.
And it doesn't always have to be the case. Sometimes we're just overwhelmed with what's going on in our lives, and it's really helpful to have someone who maybe can back you up in terms of seeing the big picture and helping give people some tools to help manage that stress until they get through it.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, I want to thank you for coming by today. And if anyone would like some more information from Stephen, once again, his name is Stephen Moore. He's in Lafayette, Colorado, and his website is www.onsolidgroundcounseling.com.